Hello, everyone. Welcome this gray and cloudy and cold crafternoon. I'm TrishaLyn, and today we are doing a Q&A on diamond painting. And as you can see, there's a cacophony of junk in front of me, and I will explain why in just a second. Uh, Thank you for showing up. And well, let's just get started here. So, the cacophony of junk. Let me explain. So, all diamond painting kits are pretty much self contained. And I say that because you don't need anything else besides what comes in the kit to really do a diamond painting. So, it's a very low bar for entry if you are just kind of considering getting into it. So every kit and it's to the point where I kind of wish every kit didn't come with this stuff because I have so much of it. But every kit that I have gotten comes with a little green tray to keep the diamonds in. Um and there's these ridges. You're welcome. And that helps you to kind of sort them out and get them right side up for when you pick them up. So they all come with this little tray, and they all come with one of these picker uppers. I don't know the technical term. When you look online for the fancier ones, they're often called like diamond painting pens. And it's just, let me see if I can get this to zoom in enough. Probably not. Let me move this. Probably not. Okay, it is what it is. So you can see there's a little like cavernous. Forgive my webcam here, but you can see there's a little cavernous bit in there, and it is used to pick up the wax, and the wax is what um, they all come with this like pat of wax. And they have like a thin plastic layer on both sides to keep it sticky. And so this is the one I'm currently working with. Um, I got this little thing at Daiso Japan, and I didn't have any other use for it. And I was like, oh, it's the perfect size. Um, so you take the end of the diamond painting pen and stick it in the wax, get a good little uh, bit in there. There we go. So you can see the pink wax kind of filling up there. And then, excuse me, the pink wax is what you use to pick up the diamonds. So, um, and then obviously every kit comes with the diamonds. They're all in little bags that say what color they are. And each, um, they come with the tray, they come with the wax, they come with the pen. So, and then they obviously come with the painting, which is printed. There's a little key. I'll zoom in on it in a minute after I go through the cacophony of other stuff. Um, and you're good to go from there, really. So let me explain, though, the other stuff that I have accumulated in doing this. And really, none of this is expensive. Um, the diamond painting itself is sometimes, well, it's often the most expensive part. Um, and by most expensive part, I've seen bigger ones that were like $20, and that's not even that bad. Um, but most of the ones that I've gotten have been like 10, 14, somewhere in there. It just depends on the size of the diamond painting and if it is full drill or not. And I'll explain that in just a second as well. So, going over some of the other stuff I have here, I have these like laminate, uh, plasticky pages that are just to go over the exposed. Um, the diamond painting itself is like sticky, where you're supposed to put the diamonds, and that's how they stay on there. So this is just to cover up the sticky part while I'm working on a different spot. I just realized that is completely off camera. So let me scooch this over a little. Okay. So this just to keep the sticky part sticky while I work on a different part. And these were like a couple of bucks. Um these are used to kind of just make sure that you've got a good line going and that it's straight. So they're kind of tapered down toward the bottom. Sorry, they're kind of tapered down toward the bottom, and you can run them in between the rows to just kind of make sure that none of your you can't really see it, but there's a diamond here that got a little skewed, and they're not really straight. So you would just kind of run this down here to get them all kind of in line where they go. So that's an extra thing that I got. I also got these um, different heads, and they go onto what happened to my pink. Huh. Okay. Don't know where that went. The the one I was just using had the pink. Um, are you kidding me? What did I just do with that? Like it was literally just right here. Somebody see it? I don't see it. What the heck? All right. Well, oh, I see it. It fell down, went boom. All right. Thanks for sticking with me on that one. So these just kind of pop into the end of your standard diamond painting pen. And these are just wider so that you can pick up more diamonds at once, which is helpful if you're doing like a whole bunch of the same color, which is how I like to do it. I like to focus on one color and fill all that color in and then go to a next color. And that's probably from years of doing cross stitch where switching between different color threads is a huge pain. And so you generally just do all of the green and then all of the blue and then all of the red, etc., etc. So these pop into the other end and you can grab more wax with them and then grab a whole row of them. And this one I think picks up 4. Yeah, 4. And that's about as many as I like to do at once. Just because you pick up too many, you get them on there, they're not straight, they're all over the place. It gets to a thing. But you can see they come in like this is a whole you know, inch and a bit more of row. So I find that I have not even had a area of that much. Well, I guess. But I also don't want to miss, like, some rows are like all white, and then there's like one little dot that's not white, and then they're all white again. So I don't want to miss that with these. But they come in handy if you are doing a very big one that has large swaths of the same color. So then there is this little guy. And I have this because I am clumsy and I cannot just keep them in the little baggies they come in. Because the little baggies they come in are not Ziploc baggies. They're often on a long string, like they're all kind of heat sealed individually, but on like a string and perforated. And they're well labeled, but that means these little diamonds just go everywhere with my clumsy ass. So, not not the greatest. So I have a Dymo labeler, the Letra labeler, and I just, whenever I do a new project, I just label them accordingly to the number or letter that they coincide with. Usually it's a letter, but sometimes there's a number as well. Um, and sometimes there's a symbol, like this one has a percentage somewhere in here. So, and then I have these like little needles in here, um, just because it can be hard to get the wax out if it's gotten like sticky and it's got pushed down in there. So you can kind of see. Let me see if I can get this on camera. You can sort of see down at the base of the copper how there's like a little bit of pink down there, and that's because eventually the wax gets pushed down there if you don't take it out of up here. So I have these little needles so that I can use the sharper end, if I can pick it up, to kind of pull out the pull out the wax and then kind of get in there. And this whole thing can pull off sometimes. Sometimes they're really glued in there. But it can usually pull off so that you can kind of get down in there, or just even with the needle. So I kind of keep that in here for when the sticky doesn't sticky anymore and I need to pick up more wax. Um, and then these are just in kind of groups of 4. And I don't really necessarily go in order. I mean, I put them in here in order, but I don't necessarily go in order when I'm doing them on the diamond painting, just because, you know, you could have a whole bunch of these white ones and then just a few. But I do go generally one color at a time. This is a big thing I just got from Temu, which is kind of all the rage lately. I have heard it described as Wish before Wish raised their prices. And yeah, I think that's about accurate. And so let's open this up. I just wanted the big um I wanted the big kind of separator, and then it just came with all this other stuff. So I was like, and it was the same price as if I'd gotten the big separator by itself. Um, so I just went with it. Oh wow! All right. So these all have different ends on them. I don't know. This one looks like a cigarette filter. It's weird. Um, and then another one of these handy dandies, and then got this to kind of sweep the diamonds out, and more waxes in purple. It's got these to put onto these, so it's just more comfortable. Is that more comfortable? It is more comfortable. I think I will use one of these. I already put the wax in here, so I don't want to just waste it. Um, Even though I have plenty, but we'll just do that. Little spoon, I guess, for pulling diamonds out of stuff. And are these plugs for the end? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So these are just little plugs for. Well, I guess they probably go in like that. Maybe. Aha. Okay. So it's a little plug so that it doesn't come out when you're working, but then you can just pop it out to pour them back into your receptacle. So I like that it's kind of like a palette of sorts. I dig that. Okay. This was a decent purchase. I mean, it was like $2 or $3. It was not expensive at all. So, think what I'm going to do now. Those are difficult. Let's just say it like that. They're a little difficult. So, I'm going to put the big tools back in their bag and we can focus on the diamond painting itself. So, let's answer some very basic questions about this diamond painting. Question 1. Oh, wait, one thing. 3D printed this. It was a file I found. It holds, you can hold it. It's got a little plug so that you can push out all the gems later. You can kind of see in there. And it's got the ridges to help sort, and it's bigger, and it's a little sturdier than those little green things. So I like it. And that's generally what I use uh, for the diamonds. So, all right. Let's go back to the painting and answering these questions. So, question 1. Diamonds. Are they diamonds? Answer. No. Um, they are basically little plastic rhinestones. So let me pull this up closer to the camera so you can see. So they're little plastic rhinestones, basically. And they are somewhat faceted. There we go, that's better. So you can see they are somewhat faceted and they just go, it's like a, it's kind of like a paint by number. You just put them where they go. So if the whites, which are in this case D like dog, everywhere that you see a D, you put a white gem. I believe the pink ones were K, or no, they were not K. But anyway, you get the point. You put A where A goes, you put B where B goes, etc., etc. This particular painting I had started like over a year ago and put down. So this part was exposed. Um and they all come with like this plastic film over them, and I just peel it back and cut it off where I wanted to work and put the other plasticky piece over where I wasn't working in this section. So they all have a key like this that, there we go, that tells you which number or which symbol is which color. And like I said, the colors come all in like a row of conjoined little baggies that you have to cut open. And so they're labeled as, 9, 10, 11, 12, etc. So you have to know 12 is going to be C. I have not yet found a universal color standard. So, for example, with cross stitch, most cross stitches use DMC colors, which is a specific brand of embroidery floss or thread. And those are universal. So a friend could give me their instructions for a cross stitch that they got out of a kit, and I can go get my own thread and my own canvas and redo that kit myself because I know exactly what DMC colors I need. I have not found any kind of similar universal standard for colors for diamond painting. I found a lot of things that purport to be the universal standard, but then I look and I match things up and they don't match up. So the only thing I have been able to figure out so far is that 3 is always black. 3, black, always. That's about it. But that's so, and most of these are in Chinese or Korean. And so you can't really, match them up that way, unless, of course, you can read Chinese or Korean characters. I don't think they're Japanese characters. I think just looking at the characters that are on there, um, to me, with my limited knowledge, they look more Chinese or Korean. They don't look Japanese, but I could completely be wrong. Like I said, very limited knowledge of what the different symbols look like. And I don't actually read any of those languages. So that's just my guess. So, as I was saying, this particular project I had started and then put down. And so when I pulled it out of my project bag, there was a lot of little sticky stuff stuck to this. And I was like, oh no, what am I going to do? I Googled it, and you can use a wet wipe to wipe off the stuff. Like if I'd pulled this whole thing back, this is all sticky underneath it, right? If I'd pulled this whole thing back and then like a napkin or something got on it, I would think like, oh, I'm totally screwed. What am I going to do with that? But you can use like a wet wipe, like a baby wipe kind of wet wipe, and scrub it off, and the tackiness will come back. So that was a nice discovery. And now, is this part where it's been exposed as tacky as under here or under here? No. But that's my fault. I tell you this so that you don't make the same mistake. And, you know, you have a lovely diamond painting. So that's the second thing. Diamonds? No, they're not diamonds. They're plastic. And in this case, they're round. I have found most of the diamond paintings that I have done have round. They're called drills. I don't know why. Don't ask me that. That is one mystery we're not going to solve here today. I don't know. So most of them are round. Some have little square ones, and those are kind of interesting. But yeah. So most of them are round. They're all slightly faceted. They're definitely, and they have a flat back. So they're definitely more of like a little rhinestone than they are a diamond. However, because they're slightly faceted and they're shiny, they do have kind of a diamond effect. And most of the ones I've seen, there are not they're a little glossy, but they're not like highly glossy, and they're not blingy. They're, these colors are, there's like a medium brown and a mauve and white. This whole picture, you can kind of see if you just look at the whole thing, will be Dumbo in a bathtub. So that's the kind of thrust, that's the idea, and it will be made all of these little guys. So, but I have done ones that are super shiny or like translucent, like they do look more like rhinestones or more like the kind of gems you would put like on a manicure. Um, and I've done those too, and I will show you a picture of those. Actually, let me do that right now. Before we really, let me move that there. Um, before we really, no, I don't want to leave the site. How dare you? Uh, before we get started here, I will show you some of the ones that I have done. And there is a lot, and I don't think they're actually licensed. So Disney, don't come for me. Come for the, manufacturers. But this was one I did of Ariel that had like a stained glass vibe, which is why there's like the different lines. The stained glass vibe. I did this one for myself. I did this one for a cousin who loves Chippendale. And this one I did for the hubs. And the way I have been, like, you can get different framing kits and stuff, but what I found and I really like is I had this tape that was supposed to be like chalk tape, like blackboard tape, and I put them on a black poster board, like the like foam core, and then taped off the edges, and they look great. Um, so this is one, like I was saying, that is more of like the gemstone. It had different sizes as well. A lot of these very smaller kits that you find, like for bookmarks or for, um, I've seen stickers, also magnets, keychains. A lot of them have a mix of gems. So they have these like big teardrop gems, and they have the regular round ones, and then they have these pearly ones. It just adds more dimension. This is also what we would call, this is not full drill. So going back to these were full drill, which means every part of the picture is covered in the gems. This, you can see there's plenty of the artwork that's not covered by a gem. The gem is more of a highlight. It's more just to bling it out, and that's not full drill. There's not another word for it besides that, but it's just not full drill. This was also not full drill. So like only the pug and her bow had gems on them, and I think this was a square one as well that had square gems. Um, but the border, the butterfly and the flowers, all that was just printed artwork that wasn't sticky. And this guy was full drill, totally, and this was also um, square gems, square drills. This was full drill, and this was full drill. And it was also, again, like the stained glass style. Um, so yeah, those are different ones that I've done. And kind of, like I said, that's the difference between like a full drill and a non-full drill, is that the full drill, you cover every inch with the diamonds or drills or, whatever you want to call them. little plastic pieces. And on a non-full drill, there are printed pieces of the artwork that don't have um that are not covered in the gems. So if you have questions, please drop them in the chat and I will answer them as we go along here. I am gonna go ahead and get started. So as I had mentioned, this had like some junk on it when I pulled it out of my project bag. And I was unable to save every little drill. Some came off. So I'm gonna have to replace that. So I'm gonna start out. What is this in the corner? Okay. I'm gonna start out with the D because I have a juvenile sense of humor and fill in the ones that we were missing. So, before I do that, question. Have you found a favorite place to get diamond paintings? Amazon. And it's, you know, the 800-pound elephant in the room. People have mixed feelings about getting everything through Amazon. I, for one, welcome our Bezos loving overlords just because I am a fan of easy. So I get them mostly through Amazon. I did buy quite a few through Wish like 2 years ago. So it was 3 years ago at this point. I started diamond painting at the beginning of the pandemic. So March 2020ish is when I finally said, "You know what? I've seen these. Let me get into them." And ordered some, and I started with the bookmark. The bookmark was the first one that I did, and then I got some other ones that were really cheap but were also not full drill. So like the little girl pug that I showed was not full drill. That was a pretty cheap one, like $4 or $5. I got a cool I want to say dragon dolphin. Words not coming to me today. I got a cool dolphin one, but most of it was actually just printed artwork, and only the dolphin, which was like, if it's this big, and it was about this big, the dolphin was like this much of it. Like it was not much. Like the dolphin was like this big of it, and the rest was just printed. Um, so it took me like a commercial break. It really took me no time to do. Um, and that one was really cheap. These ones are usually around like $10, but Amazon's got a lot. I have a lot saved on my wish list. Um, I have many wish lists on Amazon. So I I have a lot of wish lists on Amazon that are basically like shopping lists for myself, and I have a whole craft list, and I have a bunch saved. So a bunch of them you can get on Amazon. Um, I did find some that I had not seen on Amazon on Wish. I have not looked on Temu. Like I said, I got that big kit of stuff. The accoutrement, so to speak, from Temu, but I haven't seen actual diamond painting kits on Temu. I also have not looked because I'm very new to Temu. So I believe you could probably find them on Temu. You could probably get them on AliExpress. Um, and then you can also get them at I think at Michael's, but definitely at Joann's. So Joann Crafts and Fabrics, I've definitely seen them. There is a brand that is a more US based brand called Diamond Dots, and you can definitely get the Diamond Dots paintings at Joann's. You can also get the individual little canisters of colors at Joann's, which actually I have one. Let me see if I can pull it out of my my bag in enough time to be okay. So I have only found one instance where the kit I was using did not come with enough gems. And so I went to Joann's to get more gems, and I ended up with this many more gems, which was more than the like I literally needed like 4 more to finish uh the work. And so you can get them like this. So diamond dots is sort of a universal system in that you can get a diamond dots painting, and you could go to Joann's and they have like a whole display of these little containers, and you can get um more of a color that you need. Or you could get you can on Amazon get just sticky grid paper basically, and make your own design. And that's what this would kind of come in handy for as well. um Stick that back in my project bag. Some other things that I have, um or one more thing that I have that is worth mentioning, is my light up board. So let me take that down. You can see I have these little alligator clips holding this onto something, and that is a light board. So this light board came with a little stand, and it was like $15 on Amazon. And it is USB powered. And since I have this overhead light on, I won't need it. But I kept the cord nearby to show you. So I plug that in and turn it plugged in. Okay, it is on. You can kind of see it light up back there. And let me turn this off real quick. So you can see it backlit, and you can read the letters a little easier. So I like this for when I'm like sitting back in my chair. That way I can see them better. However, turning that off and using my little work light here works just as well to see all the letters. So it just depends. Like if I'm here and sitting in front of my TV and doing this, this works just fine. Um, but like if I oops, do that. Um, but if I were taking this to a friend's house, or the reason it was in the project bag in the first place because I took it with me when we visited family out of state, it's very helpful to have when I'm doing this somewhere else. And I have found, since, as I said, I am a klutz, I have found that it is much easier to have some kind of flat surface near you when you're doing this to keep these little things from going all over the dang place on. All right. So I don't need many of these. They're like an off-white. You kind of just put them in there and shake it a little bit, and most of them will end up flat side down. Most of them. Every once in a while, I mean, there's still some that aren't, but most will end up flat side down to give you a good start. And let me see if I can find something to prop this up a little closer to the camera. Let me see if my gaffer's tape will do the trick. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Got an avalanche of junk over here. Okay. Got that a little closer. Let me... Aha. I've got it. Okay. Whoop. All right. I think that's probably easier for you to see. So, have my drills and see the wax just picks it up. And then I'm looking for D. There's a D. There. And yeah, this is still tacky enough that it's stuck just fine. Okay. So I'm just going back through this section that I already did most of the D's. But like I said, when I was cleaning this, of the little fuzzies that got stuck to it in my bag, some of them, aha, there we go. I knew there was a whole like little area. Some of them came off. And like eventually uh the wax will start to kind of flake like this, and you just kind of have to pull it off. And that's why eventually you also need to add more wax so that you can pick them up again. This is a tiny bit awkward with the camera being literally in my face between my face and this. I do like these cushions for the drill or for the pen. It does make it a little less awkward and painful to keep doing. Uh, so what I tend to do, as you can see with the section, is I just open up a section, do the whole section, and then move on to the next sticky part. And you're not going to perfectly find every one of them before switching to a new color. So I'm pretty sure I've got all the D's that I'm pretty sure I've got all the D's that needed to be redone. I think there was only a small handful. But it is always possible that I will get, oh, I just see another one, that I would get going on another color and then come across another D. So that's why it's good to have them nearby and in the little containers so you can just open it up and pull one out and get it done. In fact, at this rate, I probably could have just done that, but whatevs. So all of them also come with, well, all the ones that I have done, I should say, come with like these instructions and the key printed on the side. And that's also why I like using the blackboard tape, or I also have the black gaffer's tape that's not shiny to use as well to do the taping off of the sides, because then you can get it right up to this line. It covers all of the extra sticky that pulls over that gets lint and stuff on it, and it covers up this stuff and gives it a nice inch or so border. So, okay. So the little plug pulls out, and then I can just go, oh, get them all back in there. I had found this on Thingiverse, the file. So I will, if you are so inclined as to 3D print your own, we printed this with an Ender 3. I will try to find that file and link it in the description a little later. So keep the questions coming if there are any others. Because that's what we're here for. And I am going to put on a little background music, a little night driving. It's always fun because I was on a webinar last week, and I could already kind of clock that they were probably using StreamYard just based on like the bubbles and the way it was set up. But then they played this while we were waiting, and I'm like, yeah, I was like, nice StreamYard, guys. And they're like, thanks. It's handy. It's a bop. I was like, okay. All right. So, put your cues in the chat. You will get the A's if I have the A's. And, yeah. So, I do keep all the gems because, like I said, some of them, I have only ever found that one instance where I did not have enough. And honestly, it could very well have been because I probably dropped a bunch of them, and when I cleaned up, did not find every single one of them. That's probably why I needed 4 at the end of that. But let's see, G is a good one to go with. So I've only had that one instance where I needed extras, but I don't know what compelled me to do this, but I have kept all of the extra drills and extra stuff from all the other kits I did. So my completely inelegant solution for that so far is this. And I have just put them in little Ziplocs. You can see some of the Ziplocs have apparently opened within my larger Ziploc. Great. Because I use this little bag sealer to seal them into their own little baggies. And I've done that because there's not really, I've been able to combine all these number 3s that are clearly black. But otherwise, like I said, there's no universal standard for, I can't point to these and say, oh, this is color 418 and this is color 10 and this is color 394. Like, I can't do that. I can sort of visually see, like, okay, these are the same color, I'll combine them. But that's kind of rare. And yeah. So only the blacks have I really figured out, like, consistently they are always 3. So yeah. But a friend for my birthday last year did give me a bigger container for the extras. So I just have yet to transfer them into the bigger containers, but I have that, and I will actually be doing that later because I've been putting it off. And like I said, It was given to me for my birthday last year. And my birthday is in 2 weeks. Or, I'm sorry, it's in 8 days. Ugh. So, clearly I've been sitting on it for a while now. Okay. So we're gonna go with G, because I see a lot of G's. G like goat. And it's a nice light color that will be easy to see on camera against my my sorter and everything for y'all. So I'm just gonna kind of focus on this for a minute. And again, this is a Q&A. So please put your Q's to get the A's. Oops. That's actually another thing that these little, where did I put it? The little needles come in handy with, is if you get just a little tiny something, like in this case, I think that's like part of the wax that had popped off. Voice changer setting on. Oh no. Oh no. God, how long has that been on? Voice changer setting? No. It is not on. No, my voice changer is this.
This is a voice changer? Hold on. Monitors turned up. This is a voice changer. And
this is a voice changer.
this is a voice changer. Actually, I can't hear any of those. What the shit? Oh, lovely. Okay. So these in-ear monitors.
One of them that was
How about this? There we go. All right. Yeah, so I lost one of the little thingies, the ear thing off this, and I had that one in my ear, and it's apparently not working. So this one that doesn't have it, I put that in my ear, and I can hear it just fine. Great. So these headphones are basically screwed. Lovely. All right. I don't like them anyway. They came with it. They have like echoes turned off. I don't know what. I mean, it sounds fine to me. It sounds like me. I do kind of hear what you're talking about, but the echo is turned all the way down. So, hold on. Can you, no? All right, yeah. It It sounds okay to me. Chelsea, what do you think? I mean, it sounds fine to me now. I don't think there's any kind of auto tune on. I certainly didn't turn it on, and when I turned it off and turn it back on, it should be okay. It's pulling from the right mic, I'm pretty sure. So let me just check my settings here. Communications microphone. Yeah. This is what happens, folks, when you cheap out on the soundboard you get and spend $50 instead of just spending the $100 and some odd dollars on the Elgato Stream Deck. Yeah, my $50 rig is failing me. Okay. And now that I have the right headphone in and can actually hear it, we are good. Got a lot of junk here. Okay. Back to the G unit. Usually I would start in like one area and just continue, but for the sake of the stream, I'm kind of going a little all over, starting outside of where I normally would start. There's also some tools that I have purchased that I would not necessarily recommend. Let me show you one of those tools. And like I said, I think a lot of this stuff I've gotten on like Wish. So I didn't spend a tremendous amount of money on it to get it and then discover that it didn't really work as well as I thought it would. This bad boy. So the idea behind this thing was that you should be able to, I'm gonna turn it over. You should be able to like put it down and sink it and then put the drills through it so that they would all be straight. And what I found was that most of them just wanted to stick to this instead of stick to this. And then this coming up and off messed with the sticky, and none of that was good. So that was how that went. Okay. I switched the little ear nubby to the right one, the one that actually works. And it's a little more comfortable. The nice thing about the headphones that this whole rig came with is that the cord is long AF. It's like a 10-foot cord. It's ridiculous. But I just, otherwise, like, they're kind of uncomfortable and not great. But again, considering I paid $50 for a boom microphone, a soundboard, the in-ear monitors, Yeah, considering I paid $50 for all of that, it's not bad. So this kind of thing where it's like a good long row is a good place where this comes in handy. I will flip this over. Uh-oh. I don't know where you came from, little drill. I will put you down on my work mat. Okay. So uh-oh. Give me the wax. Okay. So, got the wax here. I need to kind of get these next to each other so that I can easily. That's 5. So I've got the 4 at once. And I can put them right here where there's definitely 4 in a row. And see, this is why I don't always love this, because they are off-centered now. So I am going back in to kind of move them where they're supposed to go anyway. Perhaps I'm gonna move those anyway. Perhaps if I wasn't didn't have the camera in my face, I could have done that a little more elegantly. Let's try it again, because there's still more in this row next to it. So here are 4 all in a row. That one worked out better. One was a little rogue at the bottom there, but that wasn't necessarily my fault. It was just rogue. Go away. Yeah, it was rogue at a line from the jump. Sorry, my diffuser thing moved into the way. All right. Got him. All right. So yeah, that comes in handy when there's a bunch that are in a row like that. Like this. Like there's a big swath. The only bummer is you have to kind of make sure that you're getting them in a row in this, and that they are properly aligned here before you pick them up and stick them here. Because this, being less tacky, is a little easier to move them around on. Once I pull this up, this side's way tackier. So that is but the nice thing about the 4-banger, as I call it, is that you can always just do 3 as well. Oh, on there. Let's go. The one last tool I have that I will show you is a brayer. And the exact one that I have, I can't get anymore. I looked on Amazon and I did not find it. But I found one that was very similar, and so that's the one that's linked in my description. It's at the bottom of my bag here. Huh. Well, that's where those nail polishes have been for a year. Good to know. Doom bags, y'all. Doom bags. I know. Okay. Got my hand. All right. Shit. All right. Brayer. And it's just a roller to kind of go over what you're doing, make sure they're all down as well as they can be down. So, dig the brayer. Question. As soon as my mouse decides to work again. How long does it take you to complete a full drill painting of this size? It depends, of course, entirely on how often I am working on it. I would say, so in hours, I would say probably like 20 hours worth of work. That is my best guess. And I say about 20 hours worth of work because I think if I'm sitting here in the evening watching television, or well, YouTube really is what I'm watching. If I'm sitting here watching something on TV and doing it while I'm watching something, then I could usually get one done in a week of like just sitting here in the evening working on it. So that's why and I'm guessing like around 3 hours a night ish. So I think like 20 hours. They really don't take that long. And obviously they take longer if, say, I just completely fumble this whole thing that's very precariously thing, and these little drills just go freaking flying everywhere and I have to clean them up. Obviously, that time counts. But I would say like 20 hours. I think I can get one done in like a week. If I'm just working on it every night while I'm doing other, like while I'm watching something or consuming other content. I would say like a week, like 20 hours. The bookmark, I mean, that took me an hour-ish. So I would say there are lots of little projects like that that you can find on Amazon or that you can find, that you can find on Wish to get started. And just kind of that's what I did because I'd seen these and this looks like a lot of damn work. But it doesn't, it goes by pretty quickly, especially if you're, if you're just kind of mindlessly doing it while you're consuming other content, which is how a lot of my crafting goes. I'm doing it here while I am watching the TV over there. So yeah. So I've just got, my setup here in my living room to craft while I'm watching TV. Because I am not a person that can do one thing, can just sit and do one thing, unless there are rare circumstances. Like, I can go to a movie theater and sit in a movie and just watch a movie. I can sit on my couch and just watch a movie if I haven't seen the movie before. Generally speaking, though, I gotta be doing something else. I gotta be playing a mindless game on my phone, or coloring, or crafting, or yeah. So that's my setup. So I would say like a week to get this whole thing done. It's only not, this one is only not done because, like I said, I put it down and I've been doing other crafts. So I don't have ADHD or ADD. I have taken some self-evaluations, and they did not come up as having it. But I do find that I have some tendencies that are very common with ADHD. So I do have like hyperfixations, and my crafts get that way. So I will go through. Since September, I've been really into painting with actual paint. And culminating in, for my birthday, we're going to a painting studio to do ceramics. I get into a cycle where I do a lot of resin stuff, and all the resin stuff I've done is UV resin. I have yet to actually mess with epoxy resin because it has to sit still and not be disturbed to cure, and I kind of don't have a good space for that. I do, but I don't. It's very chaotic space. I have a very chaotic space around me, but I know where things are most of the time. Except for those nail polishes I found in my bag that have been there for a year. So I go through cyclical things, and I put this down and not picked it back up again until literally yesterday, when I saw that there was fuzzies and was like, oh no, I gotta clean those off for tomorrow. I was gonna get a separate project to do just on stream, but I was like, I have this, and I need to get it done anyway because it's not for me. It's actually a gift for somebody else. And here's the funny thing: I bought this as a gift for a friend that's probably not gonna watch this stream, and because her son, who was born in 2017, his whole, he didn't have a proper nursery necessarily, but his whole theme and stuff when he was a baby was Baby Dumbo. And so I bought this to give to her, to make and give to her and go with all that stuff. Since I bought this and since I started this, she got pregnant and had another baby. So now she's got 2 kids. Excuse me. And the second one's theme was like Winnie the Pooh. So, yeah, I'm way behind. But I haven't done cross stitch in probably 4 years because I have a trigger thumb sometimes, and so it gets to where my thumb locks, and that's not comfortable at all, and I have to kind of just set it aside. Okay, so we are in yeah, it's definitely gotten worse as I've gotten older. And the more I learn about ADHD, and I have a friend that was diagnosed with ADHD at 44. No. Yeah, 43, which is slightly older than I am now, or will be turning. But that's kind of why I thought maybe. But I took a self-assessment. It was like, you don't have ADHD, you just have anxiety. I'm like, well, tell me something I don't know, test. So yeah. So what I just did, and I realized I just did it off camera because I was talking, was I used the needle and cleaned out the wax that was in here, because it was pushed down far enough that it wasn't picking up the gems anymore. So gotta redo that. Put this here. There it is. Flat. Here. Alright. got my new bit. That. All right. Back to this. I'm just filling in some of the ones that are not in longer rows. But I had been saying, I think, I don't know if I cannot recall if I finished this thought process, but there are a lot of smaller projects that you could definitely try it out with on Amazon. There are a lot of keychains, which make me a little nervous, the keychains, because I don't know, I don't know how stable this stuff is. Like, if it's banging around on your backpack or your purse or something, I don't know how, I don't know how stable that is, if you're going to end up with pieces falling off and things like that. But if you're going to use it like an ornament or like home decor, I could see that. There are some that I have looked at that are definitely on my wish list. But I'm also kind of putting myself under I was going to say I put myself under a craft embargo, in that I am not allowed to buy more craft stuff until I use the craft stuff I have, which is like, it's really more like, it's preposterous. Because, as many a meme have said, crafting and collecting craft supplies are kind of two different hobbies. I, get into it, and then I want all the accoutrement to help me do it and do it better or easier or faster or whatever. A great example of this came from Ian Runkle on Twitter the other day. He said something about getting some new tools for his leatherworking, and it's like you once you get like a really good tool, you're like, oh, I wasted so much time with those crap tools. And it's just like, it's so nice to like have this really nice tool for, whatever craft it is that you do, and be like, oh, this is like taking my crafting up to another level. How did I spend so much time without it? Kind of thing. I feel that. I feel that in my crafty heart. Totally right. This is where that like edger thing comes in handy as well. That I'm putting them on and I feel them getting a little wonky. And there we go. I feel them getting a little wonky in terms of their straightness. So I can just take this real quick and get them kind of straightened up here. Usually what I'll do is I'll finish a section, and then I'll do the straightener on the whole section in betweens, and then I'll use the brayer and bray it down, and then move on to the next section. No, not at all. And as I'm sure you're finding, they're not expensive. Like, I think the one Amazon. I think the one that I have that is the most expensive that I have like saved in my wish lists is probably $15. Let's see. Actually, you know what I have found? All right. there are two that I have saved right now. That one is $17.99 and one's $14.99, but they are full ass coaster sets, and that I'm kind of thinking I want to try that and then combine that with resin. So do the coaster and then put a resin coat on top of it. Let's see. I have another one of those stained glass ones that is Cinderella, $11.99. I have a Winnie the Pooh one, $11.99. A Pug one, $9.99. Music heart, a heart like treble clef, $13.99. Like, they're really not expensive. These are all under $20. A set of keychains that is like cocktail glasses, different size and shape cocktail glasses, $12, only because it's $9.99 plus like $3.99 shipping. So there are a ton of choices out there, and they're not expensive. And like I said, each kit comes with everything you really need to do it. You do not need all of the rigmarole that I have accumulated to do any of this. I'm just happy that I was able to get the fuzz that was stuck here off, and that it's still sticky, which makes sense. Like, if you do anything like with Cricut and they have those self-stick mats, it's the same situation. It must be a very similar adhesive, because it's the same situation. If your mat gets so like gunked up with all the paper residue, or if it's lint on it, or whatever, just over time it accumulates junk stuck to it. You can use a baby wipe and wipe it down, get it mostly clean. You got to use a scraper too, and then let it dry, and it will re-stick. So it makes sense that it must be a similar kind of adhesive. Something I will actually share, like I was saying earlier, you can get this, let me just share it. Present, share screen, Chrome tab, there we go. So you can get this diamond embroidery canvas, which is just the glue with a grid. So if you were to do that, you can get that, with round little things, or just with the square, grid. You could make your own design. So you could easily go on like Pinterest and get a bunch of designs off Pinterest that are not necessarily, they don't necessarily have to be made for diamond painting. It might be that they are made for perler beads, because a lot of those are a grid pattern. So you could take perler bead designs and do your own diamond painting. You could probably take cross stitch designs and do your own diamond painting. And I have so many of these little dots hanging out extra from old projects that I have that, blank canvas on my wish list, because eventually I'll try that. But I have a lot of projects in the hopper, so to speak, that I need to do before I get anywhere near that. My the same friend that I was mentioning I'm doing this for, and she's had another baby since I started doing this project for her, was I had embroidered, I don't call cross stitch embroidery. I know some people do. Some people use the words synonymously. And they're not wrong to do that, but I'm just I just feel like embroidery is something different, and so I don't call cross stitch embroidery. Anyway, the cross stitch that I did for her was almost the same Dumbo in the bathtub painting as a cross stitch on a bib. And it was, for decorative purposes, not an actual bib the baby would use. But I did that for her for the first kid. And she asked me, hey, I don't want to be presumptuous or anything, but are you planning on doing a cross stitch for kid number 2 as well? Because I want to get a frame that kind of matches for it, when she was buying a frame that matched for some other thing. And I'm like, yeah, I really should. So I finally picked out the words. I finally picked out the pattern and got the bib, and I have a lot of embroidery floss, so I need to double check that I have everything I need or get what I don't need and really do that. But I kind of need to, as I mentioned, be in that hyper fixation kind of mode to do that, and kind of get back going on cross stitch. And right now I'm just not there yet. I'm pulling this, and I've been painting a lot, and I think the painting is starting to wane. The recent painting hyperfixation started on Labor Day, actually, when we were trying to figure out something to do since we had the day off, and we went over to Color Me Mine, which I don't know how national they are in the US, but there's a few different locations locally here in the Bay Area. So they're at least a small chain of ceramics painting studios. And we went over there and did some painting, and I don't know, just since then, I got really into painting. And not just ceramics, but, all kinds of things. And that's what I've been doing basically since September, is a lot of acrylic painting. And I've gone back to Color Me Mine a couple times, and we're going back next weekend for my birthday. So I think I'm getting to the point where I have to reshake. Too many of them are upside down. So I think once we, kind of go and do this for my birthday next weekend, I might be ready to move on. But it looks like I'm moving on to this, because now that I've got all this stuff out again, and that's part of it, it's a hyper fixation in terms of where my interest is, but it's also that I don't have a ton of space. And so, I'm not in a tiny house or an apartment or anything like that, but I don't have a super ton of space. I'm going to pull out this wax again on camera this time so you can see. But I don't have a ton of space, and so I have to keep all my stuff kind of put away. Let me rephrase. I don't have a dedicated craft space that I can just leave my tools out and work on stuff. My husband does. he has a workshop out back. So, I mean, not that everything's sitting out all the time, but he's got a proper like workshop. And there's computers out there, and that's where he spends 99% of his time at home. Maybe like 90% of his time at home. Anyway, okay, got all that wax out. Grab more. What's that? Got stuck to the bottom. All right. So I don't have a dedicated space where I can like display like my tools. They have to all be kind of packed away. And so I have different project bags and project boxes and things like that. So in pulling this stuff out, now I have it out. So, and all the painting stuff is still out, but I have been working more on getting it into different storage containers in the last couple weeks, so that it is ready to kind of just put back out into the proper place in the garage for a while until I'm ready to paint again. And it'll go sit out there with my sewing machine and my jewelry making stuff and all my paper punches and the resin stuff and the stuff for glitter ornaments and all that stuff will just kind of sit out there. The only thing that I really have that kind of is out all the time and pretty much ready to use is my Cricut. And even then, like currently on my Cricut table, I have a big what even is it? It's a big box from Costco that my Costco order came in. But I just have other stuff that I need to kind of put away, but it's sitting on top of it's on top of the Cricut and on top of all the other stuff. So it's like I could pick up that box and move it and be able to cut something on the Cricut, within 10 minutes. But that's as close to out and ready as anything is, unless I'm actively working on that particular craft. Or that, let me refresh that genre of craft. Alright. So, oh snap. Girl, send me the link. It might be the one I already have. It might not. It might need to be added to my other two ones. That just might be a thing that happens. Yeah. So I'm getting down to the bottom of these, and I think once I end these in here, that's probably a good place to land this stream. So, get your questions in. What questions you got? I guess, like I addressed that they're not diamonds, and that it is diamond awesome. And I can't really say it's not a painting. It's not a painting in that there's no paint involved, right? But it is a canvas. It's definitely a canvas. This is definitely a woven canvasy material. Whoops. Hey, it slipped and then up the right direction. So that's all of those. So we made a good amount of progress down here. All of these like peachy colored ones are the ones that we have been doing. And that's, been in the last half hour-ish. So once I like turn the camera off and move it out of the way and get something going on the TV and everything. This won't take long to finish and move on. So, yeah, I think that is a good place to stop. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out. This has been one of my more viewed streams so far in terms of the number of people on it once. So thank you for that. I'm glad people enjoyed and checked it out. And I hope to see you guys again for the next video, whether that is a manicure or more crafting. I think it will probably be, I'm not entirely sure, because next weekend, as I mentioned, I am busy for my birthday. So next weekend I'm busy. Weekend after that, okay, the weekend after that I think is like the Stupid Bowl, and so we'll probably do a Crafternoon then. So I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot for stopping by, and please check out other videos, hit that like button, hit subscribe, and stick around for more shenanigans in 2023. Thanks.